Age. Welcome back to Starcastic Remarks, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening, along with James and along with Chris. My name is Ryan. We are the official Dallas Stars podcast of THPN. I think Chris was whistling the theme while I was going. Anyways, we are here with you today on literally the middle of the summer, July 30th. We got some things to talk with you about this evening, but first, let's check in with our co-hosts here. James, Chris, how are y'all doing?
Melting. It's hot.
Yeah, it's boiling hot outside. My apartment actually can't keep up in the middle of the day, so it gets pretty hot around 5-6.
So
that's tough.
Like, what do you mean? Like, literally, the AC just
like the AC is running and it can't get it down below like 77 ever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's tough.
Not...
Yeah.
Well, it has been absolutely hot here. We started summer band here in Farmersville, and it is just I can't even out. You know how terrible it's been for the last 3 days. Yeah, Chris.
Ryan all of a sudden sounds amazing.
Oh my word, it's so much better.
Sorry, thank you. Yeah, Chris slid me a note under the table that said, "Wrong mic, Ryan." I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot."
Yeah, it sounded like you were literally talking in the middle of like a metal locker, like someone shoved you in there, and you just say, "You know what? Yeah, it's good here."
Oh, flashbacks. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm glad y'all can actually hear me well now, and you can hear me enunciate my terrible words. But anyways, the last 3 days we started summer band, and each day has progressively gotten hotter, and we've gotten out of the heat earlier in the last like 15 minutes each time. And like we didn't even last till 10:15. Like I'm not joking. Like 8 to 9, it was perfect on Monday. It was like, you know, still warm but not unbearable. And then after that, it was just hot.
And then yesterday it was like 8 to 8:30. It was okay. And then after 8:30, it was just hot. And then we started 8 o'clock again this morning, and it was like by 8:15, it was just ridiculous and unbearable, and it sucked. It flat out sucked. But I guess the only thing I have going on is I got back into playing hockey again. So actual ice hockey, and like my legs are like burning up. I am completely out of shape. It's not even funny.
But shouldn't they be freezing cold because you're on the ice? Haha.
He's got the jokes.
Bang.
And the tiredness too, I can tell.
Bang.
At least for me, the tiredness, I think, is from getting zapped by the sun. Like, my goodness, all of my energy is gone. But, there's a meteor shower out there tonight. So if you want to go look at the meteor shower, there's a really pretty one. There was like a green one I saw earlier. So anyways, as you can tell, I'm very tired, and I'm not looking. I'm just completely out of ideas here at this point. But
we're going to talk about hockey?
Yes, we're going to talk about hockey. So let's get into a couple of things. First off, I want to kind of give you guys a rundown of what we're going to talk about. There's one particular thing I want to talk about because there's literally no other news going on in the NHL. Nothing of note other than there's some arbitration stuff that's getting taken care of before arbitration actually happens, and that happens every year. So that's kind of boring too. But and then we're going to get into our way too early standings predictions. I don't even think we're going to get to Eastern Conference today. We might just stick with Western Conference today. But what's different about this episode compared to last year is that I went back and I have all of our predictions. They're bad.
That's going to be rough.
It's just across the board. All of us are really, really bad. So and I hope you guys enjoy our terrible takes that we had back a year ago, and I'll share those with you as we go through each of the divisions here today. But first off, I want to bring up a tweet that Uri Kralik had, and if you'll give me just a second to share my screen so you can see it. But friend of the show, Uri Kralik. He's very intelligent with a lot of the Caps situations and stuff like that. But obviously, there's a player recently that is out there in trade talks called Yegor Chinakhov. And I mean, it's okay if you don't know what that name is because it's a Columbus Blue Jacket player. He basically came out of his shell the last couple of years, and he's about a 20 goal scorer, and he's very young. He's 24 years of age. And obviously with the Stars kind of depleted in wingers, this seems like a guy that would be a really good fit for the Stars if they could go out and get him. So this is what Uri says. I'm going to read it for those of you that are on the audio side. Wonder if Yegor Chinakhov trade talk will pick up again in the coming weeks. Dallas would definitely benefit from adding a defensively responsible winger capable of playing in a top six role, whatever. He'd be replacing Marchment's role and help slotting Ben further down the lineup. So first off, do you think this would be a good fit without really knowing a whole lot about him other than the fact that he's 24, he's got a $2.1 million cap hit, and he's defensively responsible and can play a top six role? Does that sound like a good deal for the Stars?
Well, I mean, can play a top six role. I think that's not known. So, I mean, playing a top six role with the Columbus Blue Jackets isn't really saying much.
Well, but at the same time, this is a team that wasn't expected to be even close to the playoffs, and they almost made the playoffs considering, rest in peace, Johnny Gaudreau passed away, and they were able to kind of defy the logic of everybody. I think everyone would have been, not expecting them to do anything, and yet they did very, very well considering everything that they had to go through this past year. So I wouldn't throw that off the wall that easily. Yegor Chinakhov is a very good player. I went and looked up at some highlights, and I think he could be. He's not the same F1 like Mason Marchment is, but in terms of depth, he would be the second best left winger on this team almost immediately.
It's not saying much.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It also all comes down to like how much that's going to cost, and would it be worth it to just play one of your other players who isn't really suited for that role but is a better player overall? to just play on the wing anyway.
So the thing about Yegor Chinakhov that I think would be really good for the Stars is that, again, he's on the younger side. So, and he does still have 2 years left on his deal. And I think they could use as much depth as possible on the winger side. But what I put forward, and I kind of retweeted it, it was just like, this would be great. I love the idea. Sure. I think any team would take somebody like this, but I just don't think the Stars have the capital or the the ability to have anything worth of value that they would be willing to trade, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't think they're taking Ilya Lyubushkin in exchange for Yegor Chinakhov. Like it might be part of it, but then the Stars would be even further depleted in their decor, which I don't think any of us want, because they're already depleted as much as they are. So would I love it? Absolutely, yes. Is it logical? No. I just don't think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't love it because you'd have to get rid of something from the roster to add this guy. So no, it doesn't really make much sense to me.
So now the other thing that I do want to mention here as well, and others have talked about this, is who would be of the remaining free agents out there. There's really only one that I think would be a decent, okay, middle six guy that could play on the wing, and that's Jack Roslovic. I don't know if you guys know a lot about Jack Roslovic. He's kind of bounced around a little bit. He's played in Columbus. He's played in, I believe he's played in Winnipeg. I could be wrong on that, but I know for sure he's played in Columbus. But the only reason why I think I would rather go with Roslovic, even though he's obviously not the better player than Chinakhov, is that it's not going to cost the Stars anything in terms of assets on their team. It's just going to cost them money to sign him to a contract. So, but is he really worth it to give up that 1.9 remaining cap space that the Stars have? Or do they just hold on to that cap space and go to the trade deadline and use that cap space then to get an even bigger name player that would help them into the playoff run that they're hoping to have? So I just think
really
that's
1.9. It's more like 1.2 because you have to have an extra forward on the roster too eventually. So, I mean, unlikely that he signs for only $1 million. And even if he would, I don't think he really moves the needle for you as far as getting past the third round goes. So I just don't see the need. I think you wait until we see what happens with Nils Lundqvist and Leon Bischel, see if there's a need on the defense. And if there is, you plug that hole. And if there's not, then you just add up front like we did last season.
Yeah, I think the intent right now, they just get a really good offer from another player, is just to go into the season with this $1 million cap space and take it all the way until a trade is made.
Yep.
That's why I've been telling people for months now that weeks now, that I don't see the Stars making any other giant moves unless it's like a complete roster overhaul and it's an enormous move. Because I don't think anything that they do now with a minor player like Roslovic is going to move the needle for them, like y'all said. So I just wanted to bring that up because there has been a little bit of talk about that, but I just don't. I don't see it. I would love Chinakhov. I really would. That he's a great player. It just doesn't make sense for the Stars and with their situation right now. Okay, let's get into some other things here. Let's do our way too early season standings predictions. So do we want to actually just start with this year, or do you want me to go through what our predictions were last year? We're going to start with the Western Conference.
Give us our great takes from last season.
Okay. All right. So this is what we had last year for each of the three of us. Okay. So Chris, going from 8 to 1. Look at that smile. Can you remember who you had at number 8?
I do think I had the Blackhawks at number 8.
You did not have the Blackhawks.
I didn't.
You did not.
What I do?
You had the St. Louis Blues at number 8, and they made the playoffs.
No, that one's fair. They should not have made the playoffs until Monty got there. That was a dumpster fire.
It was. I mean, that the mid-season coach pickup really saved them.
All right, and then just moving on from there, you had Minnesota number 7 because you said you hated Minnesota. That was one of the reasons. 6,
Yeah,
you had
that's a good
Chicago
reason.
because you had Chicago at 6 because you couldn't put them any higher. You put Utah at 5, Winnipeg at 4, Colorado at 3, Nashville at 2. Oh my goodness, and Dallas at number 1. So
Yeah.
that was yours, James. Who do you think you had as number 8?
I think I had the Blackhawks as number.
You did
8.
have the Blackhawks as number 8. Who'd you have as
Dang.
number 7?
Not the Predators.
I think I had Minnesota all the way down there, man.
Close. Minnesota was number 6.
So did I have Utah there?
Nope.
I put the Blues there too?
You put the Blues there as well.
Dang. I thought I put them a little higher.
Yeah, so you had in backwards order, Chicago 8th, St. Louis 7, then you had Minnesota, Winnipeg is 5, so you were not very high on Winnipeg. You had Utah at 4, Nashville at 3, Colorado at 2, and Dallas at 1. So that was yours. And then for me, I had very similar to yours, James, except for mostly in the top 5. I had Chicago as number 8, St. Louis as number 7, Minnesota as 6, Utah as 5, Winnipeg 4, Colorado 3, Nashville 2, and Dallas 1. So, as you can imagine, we were all really, really high on Nashville after winning the offseason, and it went absolutely nowhere for the Nashville Predators. They ended up 7th, and all 3 of us had them as a top 3 team in the Central Division. Like. And to be fair, I didn't see how any of us could have predicted what happened with the Nashville Predators this year.
Yeah, I don't think anybody did.
Now
we did say, we caveated, I think, at least James did, saying when you have that many people come together at the same time, it can be hard to make it click. And boy, did they prove it. But that's drastic. I mean, so much star power failing that heavily is pretty nuts.
Well, and in James's defense, he did say that he could see this blowing up in their face, and it absolutely did.
Yeah,
I'm a genius, though.
Yeah. Well, you're a half genius because you put Nashville at 3. No, wait.
Hey, I mean,
yeah, you had him at 3. Yeah. So you were a half.
That's pretty
genius.
solid. The other one is we all thought that the Jets weren't going to be able to do it again, and not only did they do it again, they were even better.
Yeah.
But you know what was even funnier, and that James deserves more credit here. He said that it could be a possibility that Connor Hellebuck does the thing again. And he did the thing again. And not just did the thing again by winning the Vezina, but he won the MVP of the NHL. So
he was ridiculous all season long. I mean, he had the Vezina by November.
Yeah, because stop playing.
Yes, literally. He could have stopped playing. I agree with you. Okay, so knowing that and how terrible our takes were in a year ago, let's go back through and let's make our predictions for 25-26. Okay. And we'll do the same thing that we did last year. We'll start with 8 and we'll go up to 1. We're doing this divisionally. And then if you want to say this team is a playoff team and they're number 5 or whatever, then you can say that as well. Okay. Let's start. We started with Chris last year. So let's start with James. James, you get to go first. Who's your number 8 in the Central Division?
I'm going to pick Chicago Blackhawks again, which is really sad to kind of think about. But when you look at the Central right now, everyone is so strong and everyone got better in the offseason, I feel like, except for like the Stars and the Jets, who are already really good. So it's tough to look at the Central right now and think anyone else can stay at the bottom except for the Blackhawks.
Yeah, I think every team is trending up, which is kind of crazy.
What makes you think that the Blackhawks are still going to be number 8? Literally just because every other team is super strong?
The other teams, St. Louis specifically, I think showed that they're not going to go away and they're going to keep making moves to stay right there in the hunt every single season. And Chicago did make changes, but a lot of the times you don't see a team go from 8th to in the playoffs. You don't see them go from 8th to anywhere, really. And specifically when you're changing a whole team out, that's a really tough thing to do. And I just don't think they got any extra star power that will propel them up in the Central. I think there's just too much competition right now.
Do you think the Blues should have won that series against the Jets?
Yeah, they probably should have.
I think they should have too. And honestly, looking back and thinking about it just now, like sitting right here right now, that would have been a lot scarier matchup for me than the Jets.
But like the crazy thing is the Blues probably should have won that series, and the Avalanche probably should have won the series against the Stars.
And neither one of them did. That's true. That's a good point. So, Chris, who do you have at number 8?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the Blackhawks here as well. I think Bedard, his lack of improvement this season was especially drastic. And I think the team is just gonna depend on whether he can really figure out the defensive side of the game and pretty much everything other than shooting the puck, which of course he's amazing at shooting the puck. He might be one of the best in the NHL, but he literally is not able to do anything else for that team. So because of that, and just because I think every team in the Central Division is getting better, I think they're going to stay where they're at.
I'm going to go with Nashville being number 8. I believed in them last year, and I'm not believing in them this year. It's just not happening. The fact is I do think Chicago is going to push this year. They're still not going to be a playoff team, but I don't see any other team, being lower than Nashville. But I guess that's for lack of a better way of putting it. I don't. And I think UC Saros is going to be better, but I still don't see him being higher. So that's who I've got at number 8 is Nashville. James, who you got number 7?
I'm just following the standings from this year. I'm gonna go with Nashville at 7. I agree with you. I think that the players have clicked so badly and their contracts are for so long. What are you supposed to do? Like you can try to trade everyone out. No one wants the contracts. Clearly, I mean, they're just going to have to go into the season and hope that it starts better. Honestly, if they can get a good start, then they probably have a chance to get in the playoffs, I say. But it's just not promising. It doesn't seem like any other players can click. Whereas, I mean, they had a whole season too, and it never looked good.
What do you think, Chris?
I still don't believe in them. I don't care if they made the playoffs. The St. Louis Blues are going to be number 7.
You're going to go against Monty?
Yeah, I'm going to double down. They didn't add anything this offseason. I mean, they're pretty much the exact same team. And I think that bump they had at the end of last season was just that. It was an artificial boost from getting a new head coach, and it helped them take some teams down during the time of the season where you kind of let off the gas a little bit. And they took advantage of that, and that's the only way they snuck in. So I just don't think the St. Louis Blues are that good of a hockey team. If there's a team that is not trending up as much, it's the Blues in the Central Division.
Wow. Okay. I'm a little surprised to hear you say that. But I can absolutely see it. I can understand the logic of the whole head coaching bump, because that is absolutely 100% a thing in the NHL. But for me, I'm going to go with Minnesota. I'm going to go with Minnesota as number 7. And I think that they, and again, I think this is just the thing is I don't think they're a terrible team, because they're not. It's just the Central Division is really, really tough. And I think they're every other team I've got above them. So that's just where I stand. So Wild number 7. James.
Minnesota's just such a young team, and they did so well in the playoffs, I thought, especially against Vegas. Like, that series was way closer than it should have been. If Gustafsson can have a decent season, like, I'm kind of high on Minnesota.
Yeah, but Kaprizov is constantly getting hurt. They're talking about trading Marco Rossi, their number 1 center, because he's a restricted free agent, and he's not gonna sign for a lower amount than what he wants to take. So I don't
the space
see
though too. So like if they think Marco Rossi is the guy that they need, I mean they've got the space to sign him. Like that's
But
not
they
the
don't
problem.
want
The
to.
problem is the value. Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
want to. And I don't honestly. I mean, I don't love Marco Rossi as a second center. I mean, I'll be honest there. I think there's a lot better options that they could get out there. So don't overpay a guy that. I mean, I think he's the third center. James.
All right. What number am I on?
6.
6. I'm on 6. All right. I'm gonna put St. Louis at 6.
Yeah,
I
more St. Louis 8.
I tend to agree that, I mean, it was a coaching bump in the middle of the season. The team is solid. I won't deny that. I think they're always going to have the chance to like fight for a wild card spot, but I don't think that they're an incredibly strong team when you look at the rest of the Central. I mean, it's a very solid roster. It definitely can get a wild card spot, but I just don't. You'd have to have more outstanding performances from individuals who haven't proved that they can consistently do that yet.
Jordan Binnington.
Yeah. I mean, especially, I mean, 4 Nations, that gave Jordan Binnington so much confidence. I mean, He was a completely different person coming out of that tournament. Yep. And I mean, who say he doesn't do that again come the Olympics?
Yeah, but the Olympics.
Please
but
don't.
I mean, but I just don't see it. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean,
all right. Well, we're just taking turns getting frozen, aren't we? James is the only one that has consistent internet.
I've been so confused because sometimes you're frozen, Ryan, and then other times Chris is frozen, and it's hard to follow.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
No, that was the first time I froze.
Yeah, I know.
I just keep staring blankly.
That's
it's the meds.
Number 6.
Hold on,
Chris?
It's my turn. It's my turn.
No, it's my turn.
No, it's not.
Oh no, it is
Chris's
Ryan's
turn.
turn. No, it
Wait,
is Ryan's
6?
turn.
Yes.
I haven't done 6.
It's my number 6. I didn't get my number 6. I'm gonna go with the Blackhawks because they can't be the dumpster diver of the Central Division for all eternity. So
You just watch,
and I would love it. Keep those red jerseys out of our building.
They're still gonna show up. I mean, like around Christmas time, if they ever have like a Christmas around Christmas game, it's actually kind of cool seeing all the red and green. But anyways, that doesn't matter. What does matter is they've got a new goaltender in Spencer Knight. He's gonna be the goaltender of the future now. He is the number 1 guy there. And it seems like moving forward that this team is just going to get better. And a lot of these younger guys are starting to get even more experience under their belts. Connor Bedard had a down season, even though he was still really good by his standards. And I just think that that's going to lead to him exploding this year. And I think there's going to be others that follow with him. And again, I have no stats to back that up. It's just a feeling. That's just what I believe. Here's Blackhawks number 6. Chris.
My number 6 is Nashville. I don't know why all those good players decided to not be good, but it's not working. And I think they're going to tear it down during the season this year if it doesn't work real quick. So I'm going to say them at number 6.
It is still the most bewildering thing to me. Like, yeah. And it's like, and I understand that they're older players, all 3 of them. They're not old and ancient, but they're in their early 30s. But between Marchessault and Stamkos, they still scored 80 goals 2 years ago before they signed their contracts. I don't even know what their stats are this year, but did either one of them get to 30 goals? I wouldn't be surprised if neither one of them did.
Yeah, and that's what's shocking. It's like all 3 of them dropped off by like 40% on their production, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's just not expected. So I am still bewildered that they did not even get close to like a playoff spot. Like they were out of the playoffs in November.
Yeah, there was never a chance.
Yeah, while Connor Hellebuck was thrashing the NHL with his ridiculousness, Nashville was doing the exact opposite. So I don't know. Okay, Chris, sorry, James. So what's your number 5?
Number 5. I'm gonna put the Colorado Avalanche number 5.
Ooh, dun, dun.
It's a spicy take. Okay, it's
Dun,
spicy.
dun.
I think that they were in a lot of trouble before they overhauled their goaltending mid-season, and that saved them a bunch. And Mackenzie
Need
Blackwood
to change
had
goaltending with entire team.
They had Mackenzie Blackwood had a great season. That is not his normal, I think, and that's just where my questioning comes in and why I dropped them down to 5th, because they showed that they could bleed early in the regular season last year, and it took a drastic overhaul to get them out of that. And I think there's pretty good likelihood that can happen again.
I'm just surprised to hear you say that after seeing them, in the playoffs. And I mean, I know Dallas didn't play their best.
Their team's completely
Colorado,
different going into the regular season than what we saw in the playoffs.
And honestly, I'm more shocked by the fact that the Stars took Colorado even 2-7. Like, agreeing with y'all, the Stars should have lost Game 7 if it wasn't for one of the craziest revenges ever. The Stars were playing with Colorado without Robo and without Miro, and they weren't playing good still. Like,
still won.
That was a nutso series.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with you, James. I think Colorado is not going to be.
They're showing.
I'm not dropping them that low.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Well, I was not expecting that from James. All right, I am gonna go with. Oh man.
Wait, James, does the Avs get in the playoffs? 2 wild cards from the Central again?
Probably.
Okay. All right. So they still make the playoffs.
Squeak in.
They squeak in. Okay. I'm going to put Utah here. I think it's going to be really, really close. I have no idea, to be honest with you, if at the 5th spot, if they would make the playoffs. But it just seems like they're getting closer and closer and closer. And they had a lot of players do really, really well last year. And I mean, Clayton Keller is still Clayton Keller. He's the most undervalued player that nobody talks about in the NHL. He's consistently getting over a point per game player for this franchise for the last 2 or 3 years. I think there's a good chance that they have it. And they also went out and got JJ Peterka, which also helps them tremendously in the goal scoring department. That's another guy that they get from Buffalo that has the possibility to. I feel like 20 goals is like that's a foregone conclusion for that guy. Like, this is a guy that could score 30. Like, that is a very strong possibility for JJ Peterka with the guys around that he will have in Utah. So I'm pretty bullish on
solid playoff guy, depth playoff piece. Brendan Tanev is one of those guys you want to have,
especially in your bottom 6. That's true. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. That's why I have them at 5, and I have them in the playoffs at the 5 spot. Mammoth are gonna do it, and I know I predicted it last year, and it didn't happen, but it's gonna happen this time.
James, who you got at 4?
I got Utah at 4. I think they've progressively shown more and more improvement. And now they got a cool logo to play under. So, that's going to propel them into the 4th spot. That's all I got.
Solid reasoning.
I mean, y'all both just described them for like 10 minutes each. So
this is a really hard one for me. I'm going to say St. Louis. I'm going to put St. Louis at 4. And obviously they make the playoffs. I don't think that the coaching bump is just a thing here for this team. I think Monty is the real deal.
And there he goes.
Yeah. I agree. What a terrible take by Ryan. I mean, the Blues are awful. Anyway, moving on. My number 4 is I'm gonna do it again because I mean it's never burned me before. It's Winnipeg. Winnipeg is dropping down to 4. I refuse to believe that he can just win 3 Vezinas in a row. And I think I think this team is worse than last year's team. And if Hellebuck is worse as well, like I think it's gonna tank them. The other thing I think that really helped Winnipeg this year is they had that kind of aura around them of being the number 1 team. Like you're kind of gripping your stick a little tighter when they come into your barn, like trying to be perfect against them. I think they had that aura because I mean they dominated the entire regular season and just scared the crud out of people. So I just refuse to believe they could play that style of hockey and continue to win with the way the league is right now. It doesn't make sense to me. I will continue to put them lower until they finally drop.
Alrighty. So my number 3 now, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Number 3, I'm going to put the Stars here at 3rd. I think the Stars are not going to focus on the regular season near as much as they have been. They're going to hit more. People are going to get hurt, and they're going to get into the playoffs just fine. I don't think it's going to be close. Top 3 in Central is probably going to run away again. But just their forward group is worse. The defense group is not any better than we started last year. Maybe Nils Lundqvist comes out and he's great. Don't know. Probably not. We'll see. But this is, I think this is the most likely spot for the Stars to end is 3rd in the Central this year.
I'm going to agree with James. There's a lot of reasons to look at this team and say that they're probably going to be in the 3rd spot. They are not going to have as strong a start to the season. I think that is a fair and reasonable thing to expect because they've got a new head coach and those systems are not going to be immediately, put into place perfectly the way that they want to. And again, for everything that James said as well, I think they're going to try to focus on saving some energy for the playoffs as well. And if you are as an elite team as you say you are, then you don't really care where you end up in terms of the playoffs. You don't want to be a wild card, obviously, but you want to solidify your position in the playoffs. But when you look at all of the teams that have won the Stanley Cup in recent memory, like the Florida teams have been the 3rd seed each time they've won the Stanley Cup, basically. And I don't think that's coincidence that that's the case. So there and the other thing about this is, and since we are making it about the Stars, there's just too many questions. There's too many questions, and the depth on, especially in the forward group, is just not there. So I think the Stars are going to be 3rd because of the fact that there's too many questions. Chris, who do you got?
3rd, I have the Avalanche. I do think they're gonna not be as good as they were at the end of last season, like James was saying. But that being said, you still have Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar on your team. And opposing what James said, I think Blackwood's the real deal. I think he really got his first chance last season at being a true number 1, and then got
with a really good team.
Yeah, and then got to show it on the big stage in the playoffs and stepped up into that too. So I think he's a legit top 15, top 20 at least goalie in the NHL. And for a team that has top tier talent like they do, that's all you really need. So that's going to keep them up at 3rd. But I do agree their depth is a lot worse. Their second line, I don't like their second line, depending on who they put out there. Of course, I mean, they could put Nichushkin on the second line if they want to. But I'm just talking that their 3 through 6 forwards, in my opinion, are not very good.
Are you surprised that they signed Brock Nelson to the contract that they did?
It's a horrible contract. Brock Nelson, I think, proved in the second half of the season and in the playoffs that he is not capable of playing on a team that plays the way the Avalanche do. I mean, the Islanders played an incredibly different system than what the Avs are playing. And that's the problem.
Well, obviously they don't agree with you because they signed him to a pretty wealthy deal. Let's be honest, considering how old he is and how much the contract is worth, and the fact that, I mean, he's the undisputed number 2 center. Basically, they don't really have another guy to be that number 2.
I think that was their main problem.
Right. Yeah, he was their number 2, and he wasn't very good. And I think the Nature's problem is, I think that's an issue. I mean, there was too much smoke around that for it not to be a fit problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they haven't really had anything else to come out and say anything about that either.
Yeah, they didn't address it at all.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the middle of the summer, so we don't expect anything to come out in the middle of the summer. But like,
he hasn't re-signed yet either, so I think that there's more. That's more smoke.
Yep, there's a little bit there too.
I mean, they're playing under the same circumstances that they were with Rantanen last season.
Yep. Great job, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, we'll take it. James, who do you have at number 2?
Number 2, I'm putting Winnipeg merely because I don't think they can do it 3 seasons in a row. that is my sole reasoning for that. I think Hellebuyck is an amazing goaltender. I don't think that. We all know that. Winning the Vezina in back-to-back years is something really special. That's not just going to go away in the regular season. I think the regular season just really helps his game. I think once teams figure him out and they figure out where the holes are, he clearly has issues. But regular season, you get to play a new opponent every single night. So
not as much time to study.
Yeah, I think it really benefits Hellebuyck in that essence. And it's likely has another great regular season.
I love the shot being taken, Chris. That was very, very good. This is interesting because, yeah, very subtle. We all have different opinions. I have the Avs as number 2, and I still think that Winnipeg. I know that they lost Nikolai Ehlers, and yeah, that's going to be a huge detriment to their team, but. I mean, the Avs are going to get second because of the superstar players that they have. I do agree with Chris that Mackenzie Blackwood has just not been given the chance to. Because, I mean, look at who he's played for, right? He played for the Devils when they had a bunch of young talent when Jack Hughes was up and coming. And he didn't really have a lot of chance there. He was a good goalie there, too. Yeah, there was no... Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why Dougie Hamilton kind of came around to the Devils, was because the defense was so terrible. And he had a couple of bad years in New Jersey, which got him shipped off to San Jose, but then he played well in San Jose, and he definitely proved me wrong in the playoffs 100%. I wasn't expecting a lot from him. I wasn't expecting him to be like, just drop dead terrible and allowing a goal every shot or something like that, but he was just unproven. And then there was nothing to look at from a past performance perspective and say that he was going to be good. Well, now he showed that he was good. He was very good in the playoffs against Dallas. So that is why I've got them above Dallas, is not because of necessarily the goaltending, but I think the Stars are just, it's going to take them a little bit longer to figure some things out because they haven't had the steadiness of the head coach being the same for 5, 6, 7 years, like Jared Bednar has. So I don't think he's actually been there that long, but you get my point. So, so Chris, who do you have at number 2?
Number 2, I have the Minnesota Wild. I still hate them, but I just think they're trending up so well. The way they finished last season is incredibly solid. I mean, I didn't expect them to give the Knights even a little bit of a struggle, and they almost took the series from them. And they're so young. I mean, they're going to get substantially better without adding anything. Like, that's just, they have such good young talent that I think has lots of room to improve. And I'm all over the Brock Faber train. I think he's going to be one of the best defensemen in the league. He took his rookie season was crazy. This season he was even better. I think next season he's going to be even better too. I mean, I really think he's going to be top 5 defenseman. And it really comes down to, okay, can Gustafsson do anything? And that's where I'm not as solid. But if he gives them good goaltending, they're one of the best teams in the league.
So why did they have such a hard time last year? Was it really just because of Kaprizov being hurt for so long?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that is your bona fide number one.
His points per game, he was one of the best players in the league. And he was out for, what, a third of the season?
So it was longer than that.
Longer than that? Yeah. So
well, and then
if you have a healthy Kaprizov, yeah, he can tear it up.
And before Hellebuck kind of stole the storm from him, he was being looked at as a possible Hart Trophy candidate really early on.
Yeah,
in the
if he
season
wasn't
because
injured,
of how well he was playing.
If he wasn't injured, he would have won it, even with how Hellebuck played.
I don't know about that, just because Hellebuck took his team to being number 1 in the West, but there is a possibility that still would have happened.
People like points more, Ryan. I'm sorry. I mean,
yeah, that's the only reason.
there wasn't someone who had a ridiculously crazy season on points, so Hellebuck won the Hart.
I agree.
Fair. You can't just. I will not agree with you on that, but I can't fight the logic on that. Okay, so James, you're number 1.
I have Minnesota as number 1. I hate them. I really do. I think they're going to have a really good regular season this year. Like Chris said specifically, when your number 1 is out for that long, it is so hard to do what they did. I mean, we had Miro out for a long time. That's not nearly the same effect as having your best scoring player. I mean, he is all their points typically, and they still they sat in that 3rd spot the entire season, at least. Yep. They never dropped below it. They had a spectacular season. Now, the one caveat I have to my own pick is that Gustafsson tends to have a good year and then a bad year. And then a good year.
And he had a good year this year.
And he had a good year this year. So I'm going against the trend and saying that he's going to have another good season this year. That's probably not a great pick for me, but I am having to argue because I left him here. But I'm with Chris as well, like with Brock Faber. I mean, that dude is amazing. He plays really, really good.
And the other young defensemen in front of him too, I think, are going to get better as well. I mean, not Faber level, obviously, but I think the defense is going to get better just by them being a year wiser.
I'm glad y'all like the hype. I just don't see it. And
I'm not glad I like the hype. It's the wild.
Well, here's the crazy thing about all of this, though, too, is that y'all are both like, oh, well, Minnesota's going to be number 2 or number 1. And the questioning is the goaltending. And I'm like, that's one of the few things I would not question. Like, Gustafsson,
you trust Gustafsson?
He's been really good. I mean, even in his bad years, he's still been fairly decent and a bona fide number 1. And then now the thing that would worry me more is not Gus Bus, but the backup role with Fleury retiring. Now they've got Jesper Wallstedt as their young future number 1 as their backup, basically. So that's what I would be more worried about, because with the trend of the NHL, the way that it's going, backup goalies are starting to play not 15 to 20 games a year, but we're looking to the 20 to 30, range. So, I mean, at least that's literally what Gulutzan is saying for next year. He's looking at Otter getting about 50 to 55 and, give or take 3 or 4 games that Casey DeSmith is going to get about 30 games. So like 26 to 34. Like, and I think that's just a trend because of the way that the schedule is going to be so crazy next year. And the fact that Ottinger is also probably more than likely going to at least have a shot at the USA net for the Olympics. He's going to be playing a crap ton of hockey. So that's where I would be more worried about if I is not Gus. It's the backup role. So that just surprised me to hear you guys say that.
Back up, schmack up. That's what I always say.
I love your comeback, Chris. It was very, very intelligent.
Thanks.
Okay. Is it me number one?
Yep. You number one.
Obviously my number one. I've got who do I have left? Winnipeg. Goodness, I couldn't.
Oh wow.
I know. Winnipeg is number one. I still believe in this team, and I know that Nikolai Ehlers is not on the team, like I mentioned when I was talking about the Avs. But this is still a lot of the same. A lot of the same guys are still here on this team. You still got the same head coach. You've still got all of the same guys. I do not think they are a good playoff team. So I don't expect a lot from them in terms of playoff success because they've proven us right the last 2 or 3 years where they've had a really good regular season and then they just sucked it up in the playoffs. But I don't see their regular season success dropping off as quickly as you guys think that it is. So that's just my personal opinion.
By the way. So
yeah, pump the brakes.
You still have
James.
them dropping.
You can come after me.
Yeah, they're the only place to go is down.
I don't think they're going to go down.
They can't go any higher.
So, Chris, be the homer.
Y'all are Debbie Downers. The Dallas Stars are my number one for the Central Division. I think I get where y'all are coming from, and it's absolutely correct. The depth is a little bit worse for the Stars than it was at the start of last season. But Mikko Rantanen, I mean, we didn't see regular season Mikko Rantanen. He really didn't show up for the Stars until the playoffs. I mean, I honestly think Jason Robertson, Roope Hintz, Mikko Rantanen could be the best line in hockey next season. And if that's the case, there's no reason the Stars shouldn't be the number one team in the division. And I think just y'all are so close to this team. You see a little bit of a scale back that it makes you think that the team's going to be substantially worse. And I don't find that to be true. You got to remember last season, the Stars got 106 points with Miro Heiskanen being out for an extended period of time as well. I mean, it wasn't like the Stars were avoiding injuries last year. They were pretty banged up for a large part of it, and they still did as good as they did. And then I'm also just very confident that one of Nils Lundqvist or Liam Bichsel is going to step up and take the number 4 role in the defense. And I think it's going to be Bichsel. But I think when that does happen, you're going to feel so confident in that D-core. And it allows you, when the trade deadline does come around, to just go get a third pair defenseman, which is a lot easier to find than a top 4 or a Chris Tanev like we did years prior. And then Otter is just still going to be super solid. I think Olympics is going to motivate him massively. For whatever reason, every time he's talked about international hockey, his eyes just like light up. So I think that's going to give him a little bit of extra motivation in the middle of the season as well. So I think y'all are Debbie Downers. I really think the Stars. Oh, one other thing. I think there is going to be a coaching bump from the Stars to start the next season. Like, I know you were talking about, Ryan, how it might be a little slower to mesh with the systems. And that's a fair point, but I think they're going to be so jazzed to be playing something different that it's going to actually be better for them than it is going to hurt them. So I just think the Stars are still positioned to be one of the best teams in the league. And if the top line does what I think it can do, there's no reason they shouldn't be the first team in the Central Division.
And I can see that. I can see that happening. I do. But they just been so stuck in the rut of playing the way that Pete DeBoer wanted them to play. I think they are going to have to literally reprogram their brains and their natural instincts, because that's what happened the last 3 years. A lot of the same players who have been here for 3 years were with that system. So I think it's going to take some deprogramming and then reprogramming, and then probably by January or February, I think there'll be a well-tuned machine in terms of being able to play the processes that Glen Gulutzan wants them to play.
When you've got a player coach the way Gulutzan has talked so far, and I mean, the way he's talked about being open to listening to assistant coaches and listening to players for their perspective on how to play, I think they're going to have so much input that they're going to be able to play the way that they want. And it's not going to be the defense for Pete DeBoer was such a struggle to get those guys to play the defensive system that Pete DeBoer wanted. I mean, especially for guys like Labushkin and Dumba. Dumba never fit into it. I mean, he never integrated into that system because it was just difficult for a guy like that to play in. And I think it's going to go to something that's easier for these guys to play. And they're going to rely on top end skill to just be better than them and not try and rely on the systems that Pete DeBoer would run and the man defense that can be super impressive, but if it's not done right, can really leave big holes like it did against the Oilers. They're just going to rely on being better.
There is one kind of thing with Pete DeBoer's system that was a little weird in that when you played against even better teams, it wasn't like you just blew them out of the water all the time. And the Stars team was much more skilled than a lot of other teams in the NHL. And that's just not how they ever played. And that's cool from like a discipline standpoint. And whereas you can go in every night and you see them doing the same things, but this team is so much better than that. There are so many great individuals that just didn't get to shine because Pete DeBoer's system is we're going to go win as a team. Everyone's going to play. Everyone's going to score. We're going to win.
And I just think you can't do that with the kind of top end skill that the Stars have now. Like there's a reason why Colorado plays Nathan McKinnon for over 20 minutes a game and McDavid and Draisaitl play over 20 minutes a game. And they're doing it night in and night out. It's because they're the best players. They need to touch the puck more and it lets them win more. So when you have guys that are superstars like the Stars have now and have one of the best top lines in the league, you have to give them the puck more. Like I get the idea of rolling 4 lines, but it needs to be a little bit more top heavy.
And that's crazy considering what we were saying a couple of years ago. And then we were saying we were getting too much offense from the top line, and now we're like we went too far in one direction in terms of running 4 lines and stuff like that. So I guess that's always the goal, is trying to find that healthy balance of everything, right? If you have that perfect balance of everything where you get offense from your offense and your defensemen, and you're getting, top end talent scoring for you, and you're getting depth scoring at the same time, or I guess that's just the ultimate, mystery of the NHL and why it's so hard to be an NHL coach, is because you have to find that balance.
Well, I think it's worth keeping in mind 3 or 4 years ago, the second and third lines were just not good. Like it wasn't that
it wasn't the same.
It was the top line might have scored a little bit more 3 or 4 years ago than they did last year, but not that drastic. The drastic change is that we actually have depth scoring, not that the top line is scoring less.
And I think we were just a little bit spoiled with how much depth scoring we had, right? I mean, we had literally Evgeny Dodonov playing a 4th line role, and he scored 20 goals. And now we don't have that, right? We lost him, and we lost Mason Marchman. That's 40 goals from some depth scoring players, and now we don't have that, and other guys are going to have to step up in their absence. And yeah, a lot of that's going to fall on the guys that make a lot of money. Robo's going to have to probably chip in a little bit more, and Mikko is going to have an absolute tear in order for the Stars to be especially successful. And if you get contributions from Bork, and maybe Sam Steele can come up and even provide a bigger role than he has the last couple of years. He's shown some offensive flair. We've seen it. He just hasn't, I don't want to say he what's the word? I can't think of. Like, he's had his opportunities. He just hasn't executed. He hasn't executed on his opportunities. Like, maybe he can execute on his opportunities. Well,
I don't even think he needs to. I mean, that's just a patch. I mean, there's going to be another player in the top left wing role by the time next season ends.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, since we are really late on time, what I do want to do is I at least want to go through our Pacific Division predictions from last year, and then we'll save our actual predictions for this upcoming season for next week. Sound good?
Great.
All right, so let's finish off on those, because this is really funny. Okay, these were even worse. All right. How
could they be worse?
Just wait. Okay. I'll do mine first. I'll do mine first since I did.
Oh,
mine
I
last
put the
week.
Kraken in the playoffs, didn't I?
For me, I had in backwards order. I had San Jose 8th, and I had Calgary 7th. So there you go. Already it was crappy. Anaheim, I had 6th. Vegas, I had 5th. I don't even remember why I did that. Seattle, I had above Vegas. No. But I did have LA making the playoffs in the number 3 seed, which I was close. LA got 2nd. And then I had Vancouver 2nd, and then I had Edmonton 1st. So I was all over the board with the Pacific Division. Chris, who do you think you had as number 8? Let's see if you can guess.
I have no idea. I don't even want to guess.
At least guess. Give it to us.
Canucks.
Nope. You had San Jose as 8th. Who do you think you had 7th?
Oh, okay, good. Solid. The Canucks.
Nope.
Did I like the Canucks?
Who do you think you had as
This is pretty
6th?
normal. I'm doing pretty good right now. Canucks.
He's gonna keep saying it. You're gonna be saying it for a while. Calgary. You had Calgary as 6th.
Oh, that's solid. That's not
Who do you have
bad.
as 5?
Canucks.
Los Angeles Kings. Who did you have
Oh
as
yeah,
4th?
I did hate the Kings last season.
You did hate the Kings last season. Number 4.
Canucks.
Seattle. You had at number 4.
Yeah, I
Number
was
3.
high on Seattle. I was a Seattle boy. Number 3, Canucks.
You had Vegas as number 3. Who did you have as number 2?
Canucks.
There you go. And then you had Edmonton as number 1. So
Yeah.
you and I both.
That's not too bad.
Vancouver at number 2? You
Well,
can't.
who
They
could
had a
predict
good
what
regular
happened to
season. Yeah, I
Vancouver?
mean, they did a weird thing.
Yeah, they exploded.
They
not my
absolutely exploded.
That's not my fault.
Man, that would.
I thought that was fine.
Yours was better than mine. I will give you that. Yours was better than mine. Okay. All right, James. Who do you think you had as
haven't
number 8?
the slightest clue what my list is. I'm gonna say I put San Jose at 8.
Okay, that's correct. Who did you put at 7?
I think I dropped Calgary to 7.
Very good. That's correct. Who did you
Ah,
have
I'm
at
a
number
genius.
6?
He's a memory
I think
guy.
I put the Kings at 6.
Jeez, James. Nice. Okay, that's correct as well. Who'd you have at number
Kings
5?
haters, me and James both.
I put Anaheim there.
Okay, that's all. Dang. Oh, wow, you got a good
He's
memory.
got it pulled
He's
up,
with the
trust
Pacific
me.
Division.
I don't.
Who did you have at number 4?
Seattle.
Close. No. You had Vegas at number 4. Who did you have at number 3?
I had Seattle at number 3.
Seattle at number 3. Okay, who did you have at number 2?
Oh man, did I put Edmonton or Vancouver?
Which one?
I probably put Vancouver at number 2.
You did. Good for you, James. You only
I
missed
only messed up
You
one.
only missed
Let's
2.
go.
Nice. And you had Edmonton as 1. So
Let's go.
just
I
going
think Vancouver and the Predators is like the same thing. That's not our fault. I think those are fine picks.
Well, just the like how bad we were and how high we were on Vancouver. Like I went back and watched the whole episode the last couple of days here in, just random segments, and I was like, oh my goodness, that was so bad. Some of the things
the way last
things we were
season
saying.
ended, it was like Vancouver looked solid in that series. There was like promising things happening for them, and then they're just like, no, we don't like each other anymore. Trade all of us.
Well, and Hughes had a stretch where he was hurt, and Demko was hurt for most of the season. I mean, they were injury riddled this year as well.
And then they just traded Shilovs, who was their goalie from Abbotsford that took off. That is a wild trade.
Well, but what are they supposed to do? Like they just signed, and we'll talk about this and we'll wrap it up, but we'll save the rest of it for next week. But they just signed Kevin Lankinen to like a $4.5 million deal for like 2 or 3 years, and he was basically just supposed to be an insurance because they weren't sure if Thatcher Demko was going to be able to play. Well, they went ahead and signed Thatcher Demko to like I think a 2-year contract for like $8 million. So they're spending like $12 million in goaltending, which the Stars learned the hard way when they had Lettinen and Niemi doing that. And it's because they signed Kevin Lankinen.
Yeah, it's a terrible signing.
Trade
him.
Well,
don't trade
but
Shilovs.
But no one's gonna take that $4.5 million cap hit for Kevin Lankinen. And as good as he is, he's not worth the 4.5. I think. 5 years.
5
my.
years at
That's
4.5.
And instead they lose Shilovs, who I think is going to be at least the most fun goalie to watch in the NHL next year.
Well, I mean
he's a small dude. He's very much like Dobby was. Yeah.
Like he's gonna be gonna be in that wave when Pittsburgh starts to become more relevant again. They're gonna be in the dumpster this season. You know.
If Pittsburgh gets in the playoffs, Shilovs will be like the breakout player of that playoffs because he's just for some reason can turn it on when the lights are bright.
Shilovs might just play so good that they have to trade him.
Yeah, honestly, you might get a huge package in return. I mean, I was watching him front and center when he was playing for Abbotsford against Texas this year. Dude was nuts. I mean, there's no reason he should have made those saves, and like his positioning isn't great. I think like a lot of his fundamentals are not awesome, but he is just so athletic and just so scrappy that he just finds ways to stop pucks.
Yeah. I mean, it literally makes me think of Anton Hudobin.
Yeah, that's who it looked like.
Yeah, like and specifically when he was in the bubble, he just made saves, and you're like, how? like there was no there were no fundamentals in that save whatsoever. He was just there. He stuck up his pad, and the puck happened to hit it at the right time.
Scissor kicks at the puck and somehow gets it.
Yes, exactly. So. Okay. Anyways, we got to wrap it up here because we're already a little late here, but we'll be back with you guys next week. We'll probably try to be a little bit faster so that we can try to get through our Pacific Division predictions for next season, and then also try to get through the Eastern Conference. I don't know if we're going to make it. We'll try to, but we'll extend it out as long as we need to, and we're looking forward to that. So, guys, anything else before we wrap it up here today?
That is it, sir.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening live. For those of you that there's even more of you listening afterwards. If you're watching on YouTube, please consider clicking like and subscribe, hitting that notification bell. As always, that helps us grow. We're getting close to 1,000. That is our goal. Please do so. We really appreciate that. And you can also follow us on social media at StarcasticR. Join the Who Cares Club for $5 a month if you would like to do so. That helps us out monetarily and keep the lights on here at Starcastic Remarks. And we also got our media kit here. We're looking for sponsors for the show. So if you'd like to, or like if your business or your friend's business, would like to advertise to a bunch of crazy nutso hockey fans down in the South, we would appreciate if you'd go to our website and check that out. Alongside James, alongside Chris, my name's Ryan. We will catch you guys again on the flip side. Hope you all have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening. Whenever you guys are listening, go Stars.